husband's hands in great love. But right now I hold it in self-defense. When you come at the end of the session, one has to be really careful because I believe that you've been expending your energy throughout the evening, and I believe it's a privilege for me to make you expend it for another few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you for having me very much in this venue and at this place where I got to listen and learn from so many people. And I'll take this forward very quickly by saying when I took a flight from Delhi and I was flying once to Bangalore, there was an air hostess who was extremely polite. She bent down in front of me and she asked me, "Madam, will you have lunch?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yes." "So what do you have for lunch?" She said, "We have choices." And I said, "What choices do you have?" She said, "Yes or no." Ladies and gentlemen, we reached a stage in life and we live in a world where our missiles are guided and our men are misguided. And I believe all of you will relate very well to this statement. I've been in combat all my life, and this topic is fascinating to me. When I started out to make a change in medical education, just now like Tiffany said, the first thing people told me is, "Oh no, this is not going to work. It's been this way for 30 years. You can never do anything about it." And this is, mind you, 10 years ago. I just stood up and screamed aloud, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe that when you have the truth with you, all you got to do is get your facts together and scream as loud as you can. And not on channels that we see every day on television. That's a different kind of screaming. And the moment I actually screamed, believe me, there are two things which happened. There was somebody who walked into my office, and I was the dean of a medical school. They came up to me and said, "Pull back your complaint or you get sharp 5 minutes." And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I made the choice. And I moved out of that office in 5 seconds. Which means 32 years of good experience, all credit to my work, maximum research, a brilliant scientist, I was told. It took me 5 seconds to put on the altar something which I so loved, which is being a teacher. And guess what happened? Within 5 minutes, I took a 360-degree turn and I stopped being a teacher to my medical students and I started being a teacher to the management students. So I realized one thing that day, which I'm here to share with you, that where there is a will, ladies and gentlemen, there's a goddamn highway. And we were always taught where there is a will, there is a why, because I had that burning passion in my soul. And I believe you need to explore that. I have explored it for many, many years, and I feel that the only one thing that has fetched me some result is a phenomenon I'd like to introduce you to all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something I really enjoyed all my life, for the last 10 years in particular, and I call it new, clear energy. As deadly as the word sounds, believe me, even deadlier are the effects of it. For a lot of people who don't know what this is something which is called human potential. And I believe all of us, being a brain scientist, have been working on something called multi-brain functional dynamics. And all of us in this room, be it a 5-year-old, a 5-month-old, or a 50-year-old, I think our brains are equally competent. We can generate the same amount of energy to burn a fridge bulb, 7 volts. But I think we end up exhausting it, arguing with our spouses. And for those of you who don't have one, just wait and watch. And don't tell me I didn't warn you, because this has been on for donkey's years. And I keep sharing this with you because people today are always asking me things. For example, I crack a joke, and I have this bright, intelligent student who walks up to me and asks me, "What exactly is the meaning of this joke?" Excuse me, we live in a world where there's meaning to jokes. We don't laugh without reason anymore. We don't shake hands without any reason anymore. We don't even walk up to somebody to say hello without reason anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, are you waiting to give it out or get it through? There's a big difference. and the difference is called nuclear energy. Very quickly, I will just share with you that the recipe for what I have accomplished single-handedly, which means 4 fellows in Tihar jail, which means 2 more ready to go. It took me 5 years to get a CBI charge sheet. It means we have a single entrance now in medical education, which 10 years ago people told me, don't dream of it, you will never be able to accomplish it. There are small changes, but what the heck, at least it's happened. Can you believe we are a country which cannot kiss in public, but we can piss in public? And I think this is where we come from, a mindset which is extremely confused. And I'm very proud of it. Because unless there's chaos, there cannot be energy. Unless there's agitation, there cannot be energy. You cannot sit still and develop energy. That is a different form of energy. It liberates, causing nuisance. And I'm just sharing this with you because I've sat with a particular group of practices for the last 10 years in particular, and I want to share this in the given time so that you will start at least one of it today. Ladies and gentlemen, can you extend your left hand forward? Can you extend your left hand forward? And can you ask me to come closer? Come. Just do that for me. You see how you feel? Do you feel breath? Do you feel air on your face? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. The energy requires response. Can you imagine? When you're charging your phone and you don't see it going like that, you're so confused. You go around the whole world trying to figure out what happened. The same way. Do you feel air on your face when you move your left hand? Yes or no? Yes. Thank you very much. You need to respond. I think that's a basic human tendency. People look at each other and take it for granted. You understood, right? Yeah, I don't understand. And when in doubt, I've been always taught by my teachers, don't ask, because the teacher knows it all. Guess what? I've been an outstanding student, stood outside my classroom most of my time. And I questioned everything that the teacher said, which means please don't hesitate to ask questions. I think good questions generate good energy. I believe great communication skills have brought me where I am, which means I say what is appropriate for the occasion. And I don't come around saying things just because somebody taught me and asked me to say it. We heard about body language. I'm a big, huge fan and propagator of body language. But even more, I'm a propagator of voice and tonality. I believe today when we say hello to people, it ends up hello. And it's as dead base as it can be. There's no more emotion. People don't feel what they say and what they do. And I call it the TFA alignment. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't feel anything, please don't do it. If you don't feel anything, please don't say it. And most importantly, when you're just thinking and you're just saying it without feeling, please don't even think about it. There is a phenomenon which comes before thought, and that is what is called energy. And if you can tap things at that level, which is just before the thought, then your whole life transforms. Your whole objective changes. And the world which you thought is so small and cannot, all of a sudden becomes can do better. People ask me sometimes, what is the secret of your undying energy? And I tell them Horlicks. And that's not true. So sometimes you've got to have a sense of humor. Why? Because it lightens you up. Today's world is full of information. Everything needs meaning, including a joke, like I said. And it's so important that we lighten ourselves up by what? Self-talk. I've heard people going on telling each other that, hey, you know what, that's a new idea, it won't work. I see entrepreneurs every day who start a venture, and after 2 years they say, ma'am, it's not working. And why is it not working? Because you're not sustainable. People who are sustainable, they generate nuclear energy. People want to bring something new to the table. They generate good amounts of original nuclear energy, which means it brings about a sense of uniqueness to you. It brings about a sense of not becoming a copy, which I think we are taught from our school days. You be like this. You be like him. You be like her. I would ask you, do you have the gut and the gumption to be you? Because I did. And that's exactly what I'm here to share with you. When people say no, it gives me great thrills doing exactly that. And when they say it's impossible, it's so much fun doing it and showing them how possible it is. And this is what drives me. I'm not a rebel. People ask me, are you a rebel? Now those are questions which are irrelevant to me. I'm a manufactured genius. And I give full credit to my father, who's a missile man, and my mother, who's a linguist. So I have a warhead which talks different languages. And I believe that you guys need to be a conglomeration, a nice mix of something powerful but very sensitive. And I think people who are powerful sometimes fail to be sensitive and vice versa. Awareness. How many of you are in your position and you're not thinking of home? How many of you are here on a weekend and not creating excuses to tell your spouse? And in the common man's terms, it's called piles. Because you're sitting. And when you sit, energy doesn't generate. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is there are 3 things I have done in my life. Worked on my awareness. 2nd, worked on my communication skills. 3, and very, very important, worked on my time traction. Now then, this is a lesson I learned after 30 years of striving hard work. I never ever speak a lie. If I feel that I don't agree, I use the most powerful tool for energy, it's called silence. And the most important, when I beg to differ with somebody who's higher up in position or in terms of hierarchy, what do I say? I've learned an awesome word which generates energy, which quells negativity, nobody's annoyed, and that word is called interesting. And I'm sharing that with you. It saved me court cases. It saved me a lot of anger when people come up to me and say, you couldn't have done it, how could you? And I would say, interesting. I never thought of it. And believe me, the friction just vanishes. So there are certain words which are awesome. Can you say awesome for me?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's not the word, it's how you say it. So if you look at somebody, I look at Tiffany and I say, Tiffany, you're awesome. She should feel it. You can't look at her and say, Tiffany, you're awesome. Not only she, even the man next to her would want to kill me. And I'm just sharing this with you because it's called tonality. And it's a huge factor in generating energy. When you feel down and out, just do 3 things for me. Summon energy. Just do that. 5 times if you do this, believe me, and the air is hitting your face. You feel good after that. Try me on that. It took me 25 years to be an overnight success in finding out this. I stood outside my medical school to learn nothing. And I'm sharing this with you. There are 3 exercises I'll leave you with, even offline if we have the time. People ask me, how do you speak the truth so blatantly? And this is my secret. I have a practice in my life which I'll just mention. If you feel like, maybe you should explore it. For those of you who are already into it, awesome. But it's called frequency modulated meditation. And like you would go to a gym to develop your body, I think we are all mind giants. And I am a giant of the right side of my brain which functions. I believe I'm a left brain pygmy. And many people today, they end up being right brain pygmies. They fail to feel. To me, words are my world. And if you take words away, my world ends. I believe that when I see even a watchman today, the man who was washing utensils inside, I asked him, have you had your lunch? And I saw that spark in his eye, which money can't buy, ladies and gentlemen. He looked at me and he said, no, I haven't eaten yet. And why do you care about it? Because nobody asks him. And these are the small things that generate energy. Compassion. What is compassion? Nothing but energy. You're feeling something for another fellow human being. How many of us actually even bother to ask somebody, are you thirsty? Are you hungry? Why? Because we are high-ups. We are placed in position. We have what we call positional power. Nuclear energy gives you, ladies and gentlemen, only personal power. Minus all your degrees, minus all your titles, who the hell are you? And I feel that if I raise a finger today, when I was the dean of the medical school, when I went to Delhi for a meeting, I had 10 people who used to come to receive me. Today, after all the work that I've done, if I just move to Delhi, I have 130 people or 150 people who come to receive me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so grateful for the few of the people who have come all the way from different places, including Bangalore, to listen to me share the secrets of what I have achieved in my life, which is maybe minuscule, but what the heck, my corner is clean. And I believe that if all of us in this room can attempt to make your corners clean, then can you imagine what kind of a world it would be? We would not need people screaming and shouting on news channels with negativity which is flooded. I believe that the world is an awesome place to be. I believe there's hope for everybody, because if you meditate, ladies and gentlemen, you trigger gut. And when you trigger gut, it's a never-ending form of energy. You don't need to have a Red Bull. You can just go bull. And it just means that you feel good about it. You don't need to drink to get high. You're high on life. People ask me sometimes, are you stoned? And I tell them, no, I'm high on life. You see that in the eye of a person. And when you look at somebody, you either have the bright spark of energy in a person's eyes, or you have the dead cold appearance. And in 1 second, we can make out exactly what I'm sharing with you, ladies and gentlemen. I will sum it up for you like this. Every time in your life, every single day, be it personally or professionally, when you want to map your day, it's extremely important that you realize you need to know what you want. Your life is different from mine. Now people may ask me, oh, you can have a salad. And good luck to you. But I'm talking about heat, because heat is a great form of energy for me. As I'm talking, I'm sweating. I'm sure some of you are. There's an air-conditioned hall. And a lot of patients come to me and say, when you speak to us, we don't feel sick anymore. So it's not the medicines that cure you. It's the intention of trying to say something to somebody that actually starts to cure a patient. I have multiple experiences in many careers, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, this is a great quote of mine. Please train your mind. Please develop a practice which will generate awesome energy for you. What is the best practice? Just watch out for your breath. It's a great way to start. You don't need to invest in tons of resources. What's the next best way? Encourage you to adopt any practice of meditation which you can do in the safety of your home, where you don't need to become vegetarian, where you need not stop your drinking, your eating, your everything, don't marry, and some say marry many. So this is not meditation. And those are certain practices which I will not subscribe to. I feel that in my life, it's the truth that has gotten me to where I am. The truth has initiated action. Action has initiated change. And I believe that I need to change in order for me to accomplish what I had in my mind, which I mapped 30 years ago. And I believe it takes that kind of time. Like I said, it took me 25 years to be an overnight success. You can start now. And never ever think that it's too late, because I believe that the reason why we are all congregated here is to at least inflict change in our respective corners. Ladies and gentlemen, I end with my favorite quote, that I came with nothing, I go with nothing. If I can get a small place in your heart and some remembrance in your mind, I think I've done my job. It's with great gratitude that I thank all the organizers, especially the students. I love you guys, and I believe that my whole life, it's only because of the students that I am who I am. Without you, I'm nothing. I'm not even, forget the Ferrari, not even the wheels of a Ferrari. And I believe if not for these guys, we wouldn't have been sitting here in this plush atmosphere for all the organization work that I've done. I'm very grateful to Zain, the management and everyone else for having me over. I know that 15 minutes to me feels like a machine gun being used to kill a mosquito. But then what the heck, there's always a beginning, because I believe that there is time and place. Ladies and gentlemen, where there is a will, awesome. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.